Our top story this hour, Moldovans are voting in parliamentary elections today that could have a major impact on the government's quest to join the European Union. With pro-Russian groups seeking to steer the country away from closer ties with the EU bloc, many fear the impact of illegal meddling in this highly contested election. The mood has been tense as officials warned of outside actors attempting to interfere in the voting process. The country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said bomb threats had been made against polling stations abroad, including in Brussels, Rome, and Genoa in Italy, Bucharest in Romania, Asheville in North Carolina, and Alicante in Spain. Let's listen now to Moldovan President Maya Sandu.
There is a lot at stake in these elections for our country. If Moldovans are strong enough, and despite the massive interference of Russia, will decide for themselves, Moldova will have the chance to continue to strengthen its democracy, to protect its peace, and to continue its EU integration path.
To discuss this further, I'm joined on set by France 24's International Affairs editor, Philip Turle. Philip, welcome. I want to begin by asking the big question, why does Russia so desperately want to influence this election?
I think the most important thing for Russia is to keep as many former member states of the Soviet Union under its control. Moldova's had independence since the fall of the Soviet Union at the beginning of the 1990s, and it's moved steadily towards the European Union, especially over the past few years, and membership talks are well underway, and it's hoped by the people of Moldova that if everything goes according to plan, they could become a member of the European Union by 2030 or along those lines. So there is hope from the ruling party that this could be the case. This is something that is an anathema for the Russians, especially the government of Vladimir Putin in Moscow. They want to pull Moldova more towards the Russians and make sure that it's not going to become part of Europe. And there are other elements that are important to add on to this, is that there is the war in Ukraine right now, and if Moldova were to become more aligned with Russia, that would be a place for Russia to build a base to the west of Ukraine, to launch attacks into Ukraine from Moldovan territory. And it would also be a place where the Russians could launch more drone attacks, possible attacks anyway, and certainly drones flying into NATO states in Eastern Europe. So it would be considered a nuisance for the European Union if Russia were to be able to get hold of Moldova and to win these polls, and it would be more under the control of Moscow, which would be bad news for not only the Ukrainians and their war, but also for the European Union.
And we've been talking a bit about the Russian interference in these elections. What type of meddling have they been carrying out, and how successful do you think it will end up being?
Well, that's a question I think no one can answer right now, but certainly Russia has pulled all the stops out and, to try to influence this election. Been claims that the Russians have spent up to 300 million euros on trying to influence this poll. One of their oligarchs, who is well known for being part of this, is Ilan Shaw, who has spent at least 136,000 euros, according to investigations, on trying to influence the election via messages on social media. But there have also been cyber attacks. There have also been influence peddling within Moldova itself from these pro-Russian parties, these pro-Russian groups. And even a report on the Reuters news agency yesterday said that the Orthodox Church in Moldova has been taken basically to Russia, members of the church shown around Orthodox churches in Russia and then given bank cards and sent money saying, now you have to try to influence the outcome of this election as well. So all of these elements put together have severely shaken the Moldovan authorities, the pro-European authorities, and that means that the opinion polls right now are very, very tight. It's impossible to see how this is going to turn out. Latest polls say 33.6% are for the pro-European Party of Action and Solidarity, which has been in the majority since 2021. 33.9% are voting pro-Russian, and 25% of the Moldovans don't know which way they're going to vote. And there's also another key question here that we can't answer right now, and that is, what is the diaspora of Moldova going to vote? About 20% of the country lives overseas. They are potentially pro-European, but we still don't know exactly how they're going to vote in these elections. So everything is still open and everything to play for right now.
I guess we'll have to keep an eye out for when the polls close. Philip, thank you so much. That's France 24's International Affairs editor, Philip Turle.